Now this box came from FedEx just this morning, and it looks like it has walked to the gates of Mordor and back, but hopefully everything inside looks just fine. Alright, so today I'm going to be moving out of my Erin Condren Weekly Productivity Planner for work into the Erin Condren Weekly Dashboard Life Planner. So this productivity planner was a limited release. I've been using it all year, and this is what it looks like currently. You've got your week on the left and a dashboard style setup on the right. I do have some sticky notes here covering up some information that doesn't need to be shared. So I'm going to be moving out of here and moving into here. So the first thing that I think I'm going to do is set up a sticky dashboard, and I'm going to use the back cover of this planner to do that. Now, currently my coil is in the way, stopping this from opening. There we go. So what I have here, I pulled these out of my old planner. They are sticky notes from Laurel Denise. They're various sizes from the various Laurel Denise sticky note books. And I really, really like these. So I took a few of the different stacks, and I'm going to move them into this planner. These don't really have space. Just a few different sizes and colors here, just for those times that I need a sticky note. I'm going to cut this stack in half like that. This stack doesn't really have room, so I will put it back in the sticky book. Okay, so I've got my sticky dashboard set up. I think that's going to work just fine in this planner. And the second thing that I want to do is make room for my weekly review. This is just something I made myself by clipping the edge of one of these notes pages from this weekly productivity planner. So I clipped one of these edges and wrote my list, and I've had it in one of these Erin Condren dividers. But what I'm going to do for this planner is make use of the dashboard on the front cover. This is something I reference every week. I would like to eventually also make a monthly review, so that might be something that we do together for July. I've got something on my planner here. Okay. So the way I'm going to do this, I was going to use a wet erase marker on this, but in my experience, even though it's wet erase, it does eventually rub off, and I don't want it rubbing off on the vellum. So I have these clear Post-it notes. They are Office Depot brand that I want to use for this purpose. So I do just need to trim just a tad. Oops, I wrinkled that guy. Let me use him for something else. Okay, so I'm just going to trim off the side of this as straight as I can. I'm not trying to be perfect. And I'm going to place it here over the checklist here. You zoom in so you can see that a little bit better. So you really can't see it at all. I can see it in person, but it's very light. So I think that's going to be great. So I'm going to use my Erin Condren Tip marker that came in the welcome pack to make this list. So I'm going to go ahead and label it here. Weekly review with the bolder side. And now I'm going to switch over to the smaller, the finer side, and I'm going to rewrite my list here. So one of the first things that I do every week is this planner has meeting pages or notes pages, and I use these to take I use this to take notes from meetings during the week by hand. And so one thing I like to do is move those into OneNote. Not everything gets moved, but anything important that I need to keep for long-term storage does get moved into OneNote, and that makes it searchable. And I don't have to try to remember what week or what month or even what planner those meeting notes might be in. The next thing I'll do is set up my calendar for the week. And that includes a couple of things. So I'm setting up my calendar for work, meetings, personal appointments, and I'm looking at the next 2 weeks. On my current list, those are all separate items, but I really do them all at once, and so I'm going to make them one item here. The next thing that I do each week is bring forward unfinished action items. So anything I didn't finish during the week, I either decide I'm not going to do it or I bring it forward. And after that, don't know if you heard that, that was my dog. After that, I do a brain dump to make sure that I have captured any other action items that might need to happen. So that is my review. I do this process every week, usually on Friday, but sometimes on Thursday afternoons. I take care of that. And so I have space here if I want to add a monthly review, and space here if I want to add anything else. So if you're wondering about how to use this, I think the clear Post-it notes are the way to go. They write really well. They're not exactly like paper, but they're very, very close. And see, it's not smearing at all. Okay. So we have those two things taken care of. Now, Erin Condren did give us the month of June in this planner, but we did not have weekly pages for that month. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to steal some of the weekly pages from July of 2026 because I am not going to be using those. For sure I will have another planner for July of 2026. So I'm just going to redate this one to use for this week. Just checking a calendar here. Let me see when July starts. So July, we'll have the 30th of June, so I only need 3 weeks here. So I have 1, 2, and 3. Perfect. Alright, so the question is, do I white out and redate, or do I just cross out and redate? I really don't love the look of whiteout in my planners, so I think I actually prefer to just cross out and redate, and I'm going to do that here with the Erin Condren Tip. Just going to cross out and it will be okay. To me, it looks better than whiteout, than the correction tape. I don't love the correction tape look. So this is what we're looking like. And I'm going to use this gray gel pen. It was a cheap set that I got from Hobby Lobby or Michael's or somewhere, so I have no idea what the brand is, but it's closer to the color of the writing in the planner. And so I'm going to start dating this. So Monday begins on the 9th. And it does go across. You may have seen other planners mention this. That it goes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I think I would prefer it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And so I may make myself redating stickers for that. But for now, we're going to do it this way. I do not need Saturday and Sunday in my work planner for the most part. So what I'm going to do is I like to use these boxes for looking at the week ahead and then 2 weeks into the future. So if you look at my current planner, I use Saturday for next week and Sunday for 2 weeks out. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to say next week. And this is not a planner that I sticker up or make pretty, so it's purely function to keep me organized while I'm at work. So it's not the prettiest with the markouts, but we are going to make it work. Okay, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. This is extra compared to what I have right now. So I don't know how I'm going to use it. So we'll figure that out as we go. So let me put this away. This particular pen needs a minute to dry or it will transfer to the other page. So while that's happening, I'm going to pull up my work calendar. And see what we have going on this week. So for writing in my planner, I currently am loving the Zebra Sarasa Grand. It's a quick dry gel pen and it works great. I really love it. It doesn't smudge at all. It dries so quickly. So I'm going to use that. And the first thing that I'm going to do, according to my weekly review here, is put in my meetings for the week. Now I don't put everything in because I have quite a few meetings during the week. I use an Outlook calendar for work and there's just no need to put it all in my paper planner. But I put the big things here that I might be facilitating or that I need to be sure that I can prepare for. So I don't put times in. You know what? I'm going to try out, I don't know if I'm going to, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use the dual tip marker bullets for bullets. So I have a meeting that I'm facilitating on Monday. On Wednesday, there's a peer review where any work that I have might get peer reviewed. So I need to definitely be prepared for that. So those are the big work meetings that I want to make sure that I have on my paper planner, and This is interesting. I don't know how I'm going to do this because I typically divide my planner into 3 columns so that I can put meetings and tasks and personal appointments, but I don't have that option here. So let me think how I'm going to do this. It is important for me to get certain tasks that have to occur on certain days. Now I could come over here. I just don't want to take up the very few task lines we have with these, so maybe I'll write them to the side here. I'll just make it like a double column. So things that need to happen on Wednesday. Wednesday is a pretty busy day, but I have to prep. For a meeting. What else? So those are the only tasks I have at this moment that are dependent on a specific day. So if something has to happen on a certain day, I like to note that here. So I'm going to take the bolder side, the medium side of the dual tip marker, and just create bullets for myself. And then I have a few personal appointments that I need to add in here, and I'm going to add those personal appointments with the fine tip side of that same marker just to make them stand out a tiny bit more. So on Wednesday again, I have a personal appointment. That is through Zoom, so I don't have to actually take very much time off work, which is nice. On Wednesday, again, Wednesday is filling up. I have another personal appointment, so we'll write that there. So in my work planner, if you've noticed, I'm writing names of people for those personal appointments, and the reason I do this is just to maintain my privacy while I'm at work, because these are medical appointments that I don't necessarily want just sitting open on my desk for anyone that walks by to see. So I just write the name of the provider here. That gives me a clue about what's going on, but I don't have to give up my privacy if I don't choose to. I really don't care that much about these 2 appointments, but it's just a habit that I've gotten into over the years. And then on June 13th, which is Friday the 13th, there are some other things happening here. So I have a vet appointment for one of my dogs. But I'm also going to be traveling to Dallas, Fort Worth area on that day. And I haven't decided, am I taking the day off of work? I think I'm going to have to, which I have not done yet, but I think I'm going to have to do that. So let's just put that there, just as a note to myself that is happening. Okay. Awesome. So the next step in my process is to go and look at the next week and then the week after that and see if there's just anything big happening that I know of right now that might be out of the ordinary or something that I'm going to need more than a couple days to prepare for. And I don't see anything happening here this next week right now that needs my attention. this week, 2 weeks out, there is a slightly larger meeting that I'm facilitating I'll need to prepare for coming up. Now that's not to say that things won't come up over this week, of course, but we'll get them added in. And I'm just going to do a once through my personal calendar to make sure I haven't missed any personal appointments. So I am going to make use of one of these stickers that they have provided for us. I think I will go with this tealish color cupcake and go with that because Tuesday is my birthday. So just a little something right there to celebrate myself. Okay, and then we do have Father's Day coming up. I'm not going to put that in my work planner though. Okay, so that is how I'm going to take care of my calendar setup for my weekly review. I still don't know how I'm going to use this extra box, but I'm sure something will present itself. So coming back to my weekly review, I've moved my meeting notes into OneNote. I did that offline, off the camera. I've set up my calendar for work, personal, and the next 2 weeks. Now my next item is to bring forward action items that didn't get finished last week. So let's take a look at that. Which unfortunately I'm covering a lot of this up, but you will see most of my items did get finished. I have a few that didn't. So let me see what I need to move forward here. So I need to update a PowerPoint deck. It didn't get taken care of. So in my previous planner, I usually denote that by moving a forward arrow that I've moved that forward. Schedule an email. I need to update policy, small update, not a big deal. But that's all I've got to move forward at this time. Now I do have to figure out how I'm going to remap the things that I had in these boxes. So I had one for my weekly goals, escalations, peer review, and change. So this is still going to be my weekly goals box for sure. So what do I have? These are for my big rocks basically. So this to-do list are my little rocks. These are the big rocks and the things that I need to focus on to keep things moving forward. So I did get some things deployed. I got some things tested, but I need to deploy the thing that I developed and tested last week. That's a big one. And I guess it's time to pick up the next item to start developing. Let me see if I can use this stencil without making a mess of things for a a bullet. It's a little tricky next to this coil. Okay, I'm gonna give it a try. I don't know if it's gonna work very well. It did okay. It did okay. Can you see that? Okay, so there is more work to be done, but I'm going to have to wait until I speak with my manager to get our next priority from them, and then I'll fill in the rest of this. Now for the notes section, this is a part that I have not been sure how I'm going to use this because I really need it divided. So I'm questioning, should I divide this into columns? And if so, how many? Do I divide it into quarters? How do I want to do this? I think for the time being, I will just divide it into a couple of columns. For the different hats that I wear at work is what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to write the things that I need to put here on a post-it note because I keep having to move it forward week to week, and that's going to be the easiest way to do that. That's also going to allow me to not put too much on camera. So I'm going to take one of my Laurel Denise sticky notes that I put back here, and this looks like a good size for that. So off camera, I will just add that information. So that allows me to move this forward week to week, and it also allows me to write down any new things underneath it that don't necessarily need to move. So we'll do that off camera. And then we'll make a section here for my other hat. And you can't probably see this on the camera, but the writing on the back side of the page is coming through, and so I can see exactly where I would need to divide that second column without having to actually divide it. So just for a little color and an excuse to use this steel tip marker, I'm going to put that there. All right, and so the last, oh no, I do have one more thing I need to do. I want to move these daily routines over into the habit tracker here, but my problem is that I have more than 6, so let me think for a second about the best way to handle that. Basically, I have 3 items that I do twice a day, 1 item that I do once a day. That gives me 7. I will combine, is what I can do here. I will combine them and see if that works for me this week. So some things I want to keep AM and PM because they really keep me on track. So that gives me, if I combine this incident, rhythm, item, because I do them at the same time anyway, I'm going to combine them to AM and PM, and then I have 1 daily task left. So I will think about that throughout the week and see if there's anything I need to put there, but I'm not going to force it if there's nothing else that I need to do daily. I mean, obviously I'm checking email and doing things like that daily, but it's not something I don't want to write that down just for the sake of writing it down, you know. All right, and so we are finished with this planner. So I'm going to get it out of the way. I am going to grab no, I do have one more thing to move over. And I don't want to rewrite it, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to, so basically I have been keeping track of my PTO and a couple of running notes and tasks and things that I don't want to lose track of. So I'm trying to think, do I want to clip these out and just pop them in here? I'm going to go with no, but what I am going to do is trim this. And I will worry about rewriting or possibly moving it into OneNote later, since it does seem to be something I need to keep long term. And I'm going to cut it down even more because I'm only using about half the page on all of this. Okay. And I can either put it in the pocket here temporarily, or I can move over this protector and put them in there. So let me I'm going to pop them into this pocket just for now, because I think it will keep them a little bit more secure. I don't want them to fall out of that paper pocket and get lost anywhere. So I'm just going to put these in here. Try to. There we are. And it has this cute little paper clip that I don't even know where that came from, but it is pretty cute. And let's see, I will just put that right here at the very back. It's one of the easier ways to deal with this if you haven't had to do it before. Is just put the top piece on and the bottom piece, and then just like that, they kind of all pop in there. Now we have the last step in the process, which is to do a brain dump. And I'm not going to have you sit through a brain dump, but I am going to do a brain dump. And I think I need to dedicate a section of the planner for that purpose, because I no longer have those notes pages after each week where I would typically do it. So I think we'll turn over here to the first notes page, and this is going to be my sort of dedicated brain dump section. So I'm going to open this package of Hello Kitty bookmarks that I got quite a while ago, and I never actually got them as a gift for someone and ended up giving them something else. And I've not opened these before, so we're going to use these little cuties. Get this glue off. Try to get the glue off. It's really on there. Okay. I have have so many of these. I noticed they didn't come out with a hexagon version, or at least I haven't seen them. And I really love these bookmarks. Okay, so I'm going to use this little purple one back here for my brain dump page. I'm probably going to need another one for meeting notes. So what I might actually do is end up using this pocket, move it to the start of my meeting notes. And I need one right in here, so we'll use this little cream colored one. And honestly, I don't know, right now I don't use a monthly calendar in my work planner very much. And so I don't know if I need it really. So I haven't set up June yet, but we'll flip back up here to June. And I'll think about it throughout the week and just decide if it is something that I need to use or not. But for now, I'll put the little pink Hello Kitty here to keep that place. And we should be good to go. I'll probably come back later on this page and mark our company holidays for the rest of the year here. Probably holidays and paydays or something like that. I just love this page right here. I just wish I could see it more, you know. I don't know. Okay, well, that is going to be it for my work planner. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.